Hello, I'm Reverend Kenny Callahan, the pastor of Metropolitan Community Church of Richmond, and I'd like to share some thoughts with you about Pentecost. The entire point of Pentecost is that God will accomplish God's purposes through us, not because we're so powerful in ourselves, but because God will show God's power through us. Some people say it all started with an apple, others with the snake, or the woman. The man too went wrong. It all went wrong. People turned away from God and went their own way. But even so, God loved them. And some people saw that God loved them still. They saw that God was among them and they turned their back to God. And yet God poured out the Spirit on the woman, on the man, and they proclaimed God's message. They dreamed dreams and they had visions of a better world. Some saw injustices where people went hungry, although there was enough food to go around. Some saw pain and fear where people were oppressed because of their faith or sexuality or race or their color. But despite all this, they knew that God was among them, that God poured out the Spirit on the woman, on the man, and they proclaimed God's message. They dreamed dreams and they had visions of a better world. They proclaimed God's message of the promises of a better world where all people could live in peace and prosperity, woman and man, young and old. God poured out the Spirit on generation after generation. Women dreamed dreams and had visions of equality and justice for them and their sisters. Some took to the streets and marched for their rights. Some took to the church and spoke and prayed and campaigned for their rights until dreams became a reality, until women could decide to choose for themselves, until women no longer had to keep silence. Men dreamed dreams and had visions of equality and justice for black and for white. Some went to prison, some died for their beliefs. Some spoke out, some prayed, many campaigned, until dreams became a reality, until politicians talked of peace and the faithful danced in the streets. And so today we celebrate the pouring of the Spirit, and we thank God that women and men still dream dreams and have visions. Today we celebrate God among us, that God's Spirit has poured out on us, and in our generation we take up the challenge to proclaim God's message, to dream dreams, to catch the vision of God's kingdom come on earth. Amen, amen, and so it is.